Hello, my name is Paul from Lacerte. In this presentation, I will address the EFile option settings in the Lacerte tax program. I will show you how to enter your firm EFIN and ERO contact information, make your initial EFile communication to Lacerte, and where to access option settings for EFile returns. For being able to EFile a tax return through the Lacerte tax program, Intuit requires new tax professional customers to provide IRS documentation of your firm's electronic filing identification number, also known as EFIN. This is in an effort to combat tax fraud and protect your EFIN and taxpayer data. If you have not already submitted your firm's EFIN documentation to Intuit, then please do so at your earliest convenience. To find more information about how to submit your firm's EFIN documentation to Intuit, type EFIN verification in the Search Ask Lacerte field and then click Ask Lacerte. Your web browser will open listing the results of the search. View the support knowledge base article titled EFIN Facts Providing EFIN Verification to Intuit Before E-Filing for detailed steps to send your EFIN documentation to Intuit. Once again, you will not be able to e-file returns through the Lacerte tax program until Intuit has received the requested documentation for your firm. The initial launch of the tax program displays an e-file information dialog box with helpful links to information regarding the IRS mandate, becoming an authorized e-file provider, and what's new for e-file. Click Yes, I will be e-filing if your firm intends to e-file returns. The eFile Setup wizard will then guide you through the process of entering the required information for e-filing. If Cancel is selected, you can later enter the required information in the user options and then manually connect to Intuit eFile servers to activate the eFile service within the tax program. Click Next to proceed through the wizard. Enter your firm EFIN and click Next. You will then be prompted to enter the primary preparer's name and related tax and e-file information. Click Next when ready. The e-file setup wizard now has enough information to connect to the Intuit e-file servers to activate the e-file service for your firm within the tax program. Click Next to complete the e-file setup. If the e-file wizard was canceled, the required information for e-file may then be entered manually in the user's options. To access the e-file options, click the Settings menu and select Options. Click the Firm Info tab to access the option settings for your firm information. Click Electronic Filing in the section window pane to the left or use the scroll bar on the right to scroll down to the Electronic Filing section. Enter your firm's EFIN and select the ERO contact using the drop-down box for this field. The name selected for the ERO contact field can be any name that appears in the list and does not need to be the person who applied with the IRS for an EFIN. The list of names are gathered from the data input made from within the Preparers tab of the user's options, which I will address shortly. If your ERO information is different from the information in the Firm Information section above, then check the box and then enter the information in the fields below. The Important Notice section contains additional information about requirements for e-filing through the Lacerte tax program. A link to the IRS Publication 3112 and to the IRS e-Services login page is available for your convenience. If you need to modify or delete a preparer, click the Preparers tab. Select the preparer you want to modify, or to add a preparer, select a blank number and click Modify. Enter or make changes as necessary for applicable fields for the preparer. The PTIN is required for any preparer that professionally prepares tax returns. The ERO PIN can be any 5-digit number, except for all zeros, and will be used in place of the ERO signature. Click OK when done. To delete a preparer that may no longer work for your firm, select the preparer and click Delete. If necessary, you may return to the Firm Info tab and select the newly added preparer in the ERO contact field. If you had not completed the eFile wizard when the program initially launched, then click OK to close the options and establish your initial EFile communication to Lacerte by selecting the Tools menu, Communications, Communication Manager, and then click Connect. When the communication to Lacerte is complete, the EFile service will then be active for your firm, and you may begin to EFile returns from within the Lacerte tax program. Let's return back to the user options to address some additional EFile options that are available. In the Tax Return tab, there are a few settings that may help save you time when preparing EFile returns. First, the default to EFile setting is recommended to be set to Yes. This setting will automatically mark newly created clients for e-filing in Screen 1 Client Information. The computer-generated PINs field, which defaults to Yes, alleviates the need for tax preparers to enter the taxpayer and, if necessary, spouse PINs for each client. If this field is set to No, then the preparer must enter the PIN signature in the Detail Screen 4.1 for the taxpayer and spouse, as well as indicating how the PINs were entered. The computer date as PIN signature date field defaults to No. When set to Yes, the program will automatically use the current computer date when the return is transmitted for electronic filing as the PIN signature date, which alleviates the need to enter the PIN signature date in the Detail Screen 4.1. Another helpful setting in the tax return options is to set the Efiling Instructions to Yes. The program will print the instructions for e-filing with the return. Additional e-file options may be available for the states you have installed. Click on the state options in the left window pane to view the state-specific options. A common question asked of our support is, how do I include the federal and state e-file authorization or signature forms as part of the complete return that is printed? To include the e-file forms as part of the return when printed, select the Items to Print tab. Select the copy on the left that you want the e-file forms to print with and verify the federal and/or state e-file signature forms box is checked in the Print Order section. In the Print Settings section, change the Only e-file forms in complete returns to Yes. The final option that I want to speak to you about is under the Setup tab. It is the Auto Generate and Attach PDFs to e-files, which is set to Yes by default. This setting can help save you time when preparing returns. This setting allows for certain forms that are generated by the tax program for print purposes to be automatically attached to the return whenever the state agency requires a copy of that form to be submitted for e-file. These are forms that the state does not currently support for e-file, but are required to be transmitted with the e-file return as a PDF attachment. Lacerte recommends that you keep this option set to Yes. If you set this option to No, you will need to manually generate and attach the required form attachments. To save these changes, click OK. This completes the video presentation of e-file options in the Lacerte tax program. You should now be able to enter your firm EFIN and ERO contact information, make your initial e-file communication to Lacerte, and adjust the option settings for e-file to your firm's liking. I hope you found this video to be helpful and informative. Additional videos regarding the use of the Lacerte tax program can be found on the Lacerte training website.